Welcome to MI Magazine Presents Soul, a weekly entertainment show on fashion, arts and culture, mental health, relationships, travel, and food. Our weekly co-hosts are Carla Hill, Dr. Delvina Thomas, and Chef Irie. Now introducing our host, Miss Nicky Gelin.
Hello, everybody, and it's Wednesday. I think we're going down the hill right now, so hopefully you had a really good day. I hope you're having a really good week. And I want to start by saying that it's August. Oh my goodness, it's like going by really fast. But August is Black Business Month. So let's celebrate, let's collaborate by submitting your all-time favorite Black-owned business to be featured in our newsletter every single week during the month of August. So submit your favorite Black-owned businesses to info@miamediagrp.com. Also, the weekend is almost here. Do you love R&B music? I know y'all do. So my favorite R&B, it's definitely the late 90s, 2000s, Aaliyah, Drew Hill, Ashanti, TLC, SWV. I did love me some B2K as well. I'm saying this because on Saturday, R&B, it's ARE, the letter N, and BEE. They're having an all-night R&B event in Wynwood at the Purple Palm Creative. And the playlist will be played by DJ She J Hercules and DJ Lucky C of 99 Jams. So get your tickets. Again, it's R&B. Visit my Instagram page for more info at Nicky Says YOLO. Get your R&B on. It's been a while, just relax and chill and all that good stuff. And which leads me to our featured guest tonight. She is a Florida native. She is a beloved writer and visionary and has collaborated with other women to build a sisterhood to talk about their experiences and their journey. So I'll be speaking to them in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. And now a word from our sponsor. So Soul is brought to you by the African American Black Alzheimer's Disease Initiative at the John P. Hussman Institute for Human Genomics, University of Miami School of Medicine. University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. If you are someone that is experiencing loss of memory or memory problems, or if you know someone who has those problems, please contact their research team for more info at 877-686-6444. Again, the number is 877-686-6444. Now let's get the show started. So my first co-host, she is our mental health and wellness advocate. She's also the host of the Brain Love podcast. So Dr. Delvina, how is it going?
Hey, Nicky. Happy Hump Wednesday.
Hey.
Are you ready to take the couch?
I'm always ready for you.
All right now. Yeah, so you mentioned the podcast that I do every Sunday night at 8 p.m. It's the Brain Love podcast. This past Sunday, we were really, really out there just being upfront and personal. I had 5 ladies on the couch, and they really were very open and frank about what's been happening in their love lives and their sex life and romance and all those things. So I would encourage people to check it out. Sexual freedom is really what life not is about, but sexual freedom is important. However you choose to exercise that sexual freedom, just always have choices. Now, you mentioned August is Black Business Month. August is also Wellness Month. And so tonight I'm talking to you guys about burnout. And the reason why I wanted to talk about burnout is because for the last couple of episodes, I've mentioned Simone Biles and what's happening to her in Tokyo. I really believe there was some burnout component in her decision-making. I believe that was a factor. And I think it's just important just to remind people about burnout and to remind people about wellness and health. And so you are well when you're able to check the box in 5 different aspects of your personal health. Physically, overall, you're well. Emotionally, meaning you're managing your emotions and you're expressing yourself well. You're not losing control. Social, spiritual, and intellectual. Those are the 5 domains of personal health. And so we got to keep those things in mind. Sorry, my blouse keeps falling down. we got to keep those things in mind when we're talking about wellness. So we always talk about physical and mental wellness, but there's other domains of wellness as well. And so what is burnout? Burnout is a state of basically exhaustion of all of those things. You are mentally exhausted, you are physically exhausted, you are emotionally exhausted. It's caused by excessive, prolonged stress. And we have to be aware of that. You cannot allow yourself to get to the point of burnout, because if you allow yourself to get to that point, it can actually become something major, something more major than just simple stress and burnout is not simple, but in comparison to a depressive disorder, burnout is considered simple. So we want to be certain that we're looking for those signs. Here's the signs that you're on the road to burnout. Every day is a bad day. Every day that you wake up, you're like, oh my God, I got to do this again. Every day is a bad day. Caring about your work or home life seems like a total waste of energy. You have no positive reserves. You have nothing positive to say to yourself. You're tired all of the time. It's like you can't get enough sleep. The majority of your day is spent on tasks you find either mind-boggling or mind-numbing or overwhelming. And you also feel like nothing makes a difference in what you do. Those are the signs of burnout, Nikki. I just wanted people to be aware. Maybe next time we can talk about ways to prevent burnout or ways to deal with burnout if it presents, or if you notice that these things are happening to you.
Wow. Another good thing is to say no. Can't be the person all the time.
It's a small word, but it has a huge impact. No is powerful. Learning how to say no, because sometimes people have to learn. We talked about that too. You have to learn how to say no so that you're comfortable telling people no. Before I get out of here, I just want to remind people to please tune into 99 Jams every Sunday morning, Community Matters with Super Cindy and me, and listen to some of the folks, man. We've had some of these people here too on MIA Soul, both of these stations, both of these channels, these networks rock. So guys, tune in and also listen to the Brain Love podcast. Say Brain Love, Nikki.
All right, Brain Love. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And now on to my next co-host. We all know my next co-host. He is a private chef, a personal chef. He's also the host of Tasty Island on American Public Television. So, Chef Irie, bring your energy, bring your energy.
What's going on, Nicky?
What's going on?
I was about to get up to go do something. I was like, wait a minute, I'm next. Ah! Like, sit your butt down, buddy. Sit your butt down. Hey, salute. I hope your birthday was awesome. So, so we can't even have a birthday drink on screen. What's up?
Damn, I got my drink right here. Salute.
Niceness. All right. So, what are we talking about today? So, it is August, and thanks for telling everybody. It's Black Business Month? Awesome. So we still talk about food, because we're gonna talk about food, festivals, and all that good stuff. So what's one of the biggest things that we have down here between August and September? It is Miami Spice Month. Yes, August and September, it's Miami Spice Month. And what does that mean for the people who don't live here, watching and are coming to visit us in August and September? That means in Miami, restaurants are offering special lunch and dinner menus, special 3-course lunch and special 3-course dinner menus. What they try to do is highlight, different menu items that they probably wouldn't regularly do throughout the course of dinner. But what it does, it also helps for more people who sometimes might think some of these restaurants are a little overpriced or what have you, but to go and get a cool dining experience in Miami for, reasonably priced 3 courses. So what you want to do is just go on MiamiSpice.com, I think it is, or the Miami Conventions Bureau website. I don't have them listed here. And if you're on the Miami Spice site, you can look up all the restaurants that are participating, whether you live in Miami Shores or you live in Kendall or you live in, Brickell. Wherever in Miami, you can find a restaurant that's participating in different areas. So go check it out. people that live here, people coming to visit, go check out the restaurants, because right now, summertime, and this was designed for restaurants to really, buffer their sales during the slower months of the summer. And because of how COVID has changed a lot of things, a lot of restaurants are seeing, somewhat of a resurgence in their businesses a little bit, but they're still struggling. Most of them are. So go out and support Miami Spice and have some wonderful food. Awesome. So, more food. So, yes, more food, more food. So, if you are traveling down to the Keys between August 12th and the 15th, it's Key West Lobster Fest. Yes. And August 6th, so spiny lobster season is August 6th all the way through March of next year. So we're gonna be seeing, hopefully a glut of spiny lobsters. And for lobster lovers, you want to take advantage of this if you're going down to the Keys. So we're talking about, lobster boil. We're talking about, lobster crawl. We're talking about lobster brunch. We're talking about lobster fest. So go to Key West and enjoy yourself some lobster. And before we get to the next set, so tomorrow is, I don't have it listed on the slide. So tomorrow is August 5th. Nicky, what's your favorite seafood? Do you have a favorite shellfish?
Can I say shrimp?
Shrimp is good. Right, shrimp is good. Are you an oyster lover?
Not really.
Not really? Yeah. Well, for those of us who are, I am. Tomorrow is International Oyster Day. So go out, get you a dozen, 2 dozen, whether that's raw, fried, however you take it, get it and eat it. All right. So what's next coming up in here in August in Florida? We got the Taste of Soul. These are some lesser, smaller things, that's happening in the state of Florida, not necessarily here in Miami. So, Miami and Florida on the whole, we got a lot of stuff, and we're highlighting, something that's happening in Jacksonville. That's the Taste of Soul, and Black Joy Festival that's happening in Orlando. So the Jacksonville one is August 21st, and the Black Joy Festival is August 28th. So if you're in those areas around that time, check them out. Yes, and have fun.
All right. Thank you so much, Chef. And looking forward to Friday, Jamaican Independence Day. So salute
there
to that.
There you go. Salute, baby.
All right. And Ricky Smiley, when?
Next week, Friday, darling. Next week, Friday. So we'll get a plug-in when we come on next week, Wednesday.
All right. All right, then. All right. So we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
You too, darling.
And now our featured guest and guests tonight. So again, she is a Florida native. She is also a beloved writer and author. And she's teamed up with other women, 16 to be exact, to co-write this book. It's about building a sisterhood. It's about the experiences in their journey. And it's called Sister to Sister, Untold Stories of Courage, Connection, and Community. So RHONDA Turner, hello, good night. You're on mute.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being our guest tonight. So really quickly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mother of 5, a wife for 23 years. I'm a school counselor. I have a nonprofit called For Knowledge is Power, where I take kids around the United States for college and historical sites. I am the president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women of South Palm Beach County chapter. And I'm just so involved in so many different organizations at this moment. I need a doctor to come back and put me on the couch and say, teach me how to say no.
How to say
no.
And not feel guilty either. Okay.
So I need help, doctor. I need help.
Okay. So how did the Sister to Sister book anthology project come about?
Well, like I said, I'm in many different organizations. I've been working and dealing with Black women for a long time. But I got pregnant at 17. And what I realized is that because I got pregnant, I had my first child at 18, many women of strength look at you like, well, she's not gonna be anything. She started, she having babies, and no encouragement, no like, okay, girl, get it together. You still can be somebody. It wasn't too much of that out there. So over the years, I started working with young girls and start like just encouraging them and lifting them up. Some probably got mad because I gave them some true information.
Yeah.
And as older I got into more Black women organizations, and I just thought that this was something that needed to be talked about, how we treat each other, our loyalty to each other, or I'm intimidated by you, or I don't support you. Why not? Why can't we come together as Black women and support each other? So that's why I came up with the Sister to Sister. And everybody, if I tell you once, I tell you twice. We all have a story of being with a friend and going through something, and we need to tell the story that may help someone else.
Wow, and it's so true. Like, we all need to come together and build a sisterhood. We've had so much like past trauma. Now we have to kind of build from that and kind of support each other.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring it over now to one of the first co-authors. So I have a couple of questions for her that we're going to just speak to the other ones after that. So the first co-author I'll be speaking to is Robin Starks. Robin, how's it going?
Okay, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Well, congratulations on the Sister to Sister book project. So what inspired your chapter?
Well, when RHONDA, Madam President, mentioned about the book, it was something that I had already looked at doing. My mother came from a domestic background where she was physically and mentally abused, and she had also previously written a book as well. So when the opportunity came and when she mentioned it, I said, absolutely, I'll definitely be a part of that.
So the chapter is inspired by, I guess, your upbringing, your mom, what you've seen growing up. And do you want to share a piece or a little snippet from your chapter?
Well, it pretty much starts with my mother. Growing up in a domestic background, subsequently we ultimately end up being homeless for a period of time because she chose to leave my father. And what inspired me the most is seeing a strong Black woman raising 4 kids by herself and being able to endure everything that she endured by making sure that we stayed in school. She made all of our clothing. And to be where I'm at today, I really have to thank her for that. I'm the second oldest of 4 siblings, and my younger sister and I, we've always been the closest. And then, of course, I have a younger brother and an older sister. But just to know that when you go through things in life, there's always an opportunity to make a difference. And the path that you choose to take makes a huge difference in how your future will become. And I currently work in law enforcement. I've been in this profession for over 30 years. I'm also a business owner. I own a production company, and I also own a restaurant. I'm actually doing my defense for my doctorate degree on Friday. So the accomplishments of what I am, what I've made today, it goes back to what my upbringing and how I was raised and how I grew up and things that I went through, the trials and the tribulations. So for me, I want to make sure that I can give back to other sisters and be a mentor and a role model for other young ladies that may have trials and tribulations that they may have to endure or they have endured. And I want to be there for them because my mother was there for us, but she strived to make sure that we succeeded in anything that we did. And that's something that we have accomplished, and I'm very honored to be happy.
Wow. No, it's very inspiring. Just given what you've had to kind of see through your eyes and what your mom had to go through, like you broke that cycle. Like your mom, she broke that cycle. You guys, I'm sure it was very rough and difficult and challenging during that time. But because of what you saw, what she went through, it kind of gave you that strength to kind of break that cycle and to make your life better for you and maybe your kids, your family, so that's very inspiring. And I'm just happy to hear that story, and congratulations on your business, your doctrine, like just, your production company, like a restaurant. What? Like, congratulations. Okay. Well, nice to
So
speak with you. Oh, go ahead.
so it has been very rewarding, and I'm truly grateful and thankful to Rhonda, Madam President, for making this an opportunity for me to be able to do this. So this is not going to be the first, and it's not going to be the last book.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Robin, and have a good night. And now I'm going to speak to another co-author. Her name is Rhonda Rogers. So, Rhonda, thank you so much for being on with us tonight.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. So, what inspired your chapter?
My chapter is really talking about my sisterhood journey. So I've been involved in sisterhoods probably since I was in middle school. I was raised by my grandparents, and it was always important for them to give back and volunteer. So they put me in a youth group with the BS, which is underneath a sorority. And so from ever since then, some of the same ladies are some of my dearest friends now. We grew up together. And so in my chapter, I really talk about being in a sisterhood from an early age up until now. I'm very much like Rhonda Turner. I am also the chapter president of NCBW, which is a national coalition of 100 Black women. I'm the chapter president of our sorority, which is Delta Sigma Theta, South Palm Beach Alumni Chapter. And Rhonda and I are line sisters. Rhonda Turner and I are line sisters, which means we pledged at the same time. And so when she approached me as well about being in the book, she started out by saying, well, I know you're busy, but, and I said, yes, I'm busy, but I have a story to tell. So when you read my story, you will hear from my perspective about being in sisterhoods at a young age, having some of the dearest friends with me who are friends with me now. I'm 52. I'm very proud of that. I look good because Black don't crack, right? And so my sisters and I have been friends since the 7th grade, and we call ourselves the Fairy Tale Lovers. So I talk about that group of women. And I really believe in a tribe, and I really believe in a connection. And so I'm very much connected to women in the community. I give back in any way I can. People know that they can count on me. And I am personally going through a little trial and tribulation myself. And I have just been circled with so many women reaching out to me, calling and saying, we're here for you to uplift you, and you'll get over this hump. And so when Rhonda brought this to my attention, I was more than happy. I signed up that very first night when I heard the pitch because I knew I had a story to tell, and I want to encourage other women to be a part of a sisterhood. I see the good in it. I see the connections. I see the love. I know women can lift each other up. I know we can be catty sometimes, and I know sometimes everything is not perfect, but from my perspective, it is a bond that I will never, ever, ever forget, and love the sisters that circle around me and uplift me. Every day when I wake up, I get so many text messages and words of inspiration. They know who they are. And so for me, I really want to encourage people because I know many people have been burnt, and they said women have done this to me and they've done that. But the women in my life and in my circle do nothing but uplift me. And I'm just really here to tell that story. And so I name my chapter, my sisterhood journey, and I encourage others to get involved. And like I said, it's not always easy. You're not always going to see things the same, but get yourself a good, strong tribe. And in my book, I give tidbits. I give a lot of tidbits, and I tell them, if you're the smartest woman in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. You need to have some sisters who are about something, doing something that's constantly lifting you and climbing. At some point in my circle, we're all the smartest women in the circle, but we're not always it at the same time. We're there for each other, and it's like a connection and a link that keeps us bonding and keeps us growing and keeping us in a sisterhood of over almost 40 years. So that's my story. Seventh grade.
Wow, that's
and we've seen the good and bad and ugly. We've seen each other through marriages, divorce, second marriages, children's college, grandchildren now, and we are just here for each other. And so, like I said,
that's
exactly. We still take girl trips. We believe in taking our annual trip. Pre-COVID, we took a trip for my 50th birthday to Cabo, and we just lived our best life. And so, like I said, I know it's not always easy, but find you a tribe that connects you and helps you connect to the community, and do it for the right reasons. Sisterhood can be a beautiful thing if it's done right.
It can be. And again, it's about the relationship. It's about communication. It's sometimes it's a challenge. I've had my moments, with the whole sisterhood journey. So it's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But like I said,
good.
when your sister can pick up the phone and say to you, hey, we need to have a conversation. And I have sisters who do that, and they want to clear the air before you let anything fester. And that means the world to me, so that we can move on, deal with that, agree to disagree, understand where each person's coming from, and make a change. But I thank Rhonda Turner for inviting me to tell my story. And like I said, each one of the ladies bring a different perspective. But from my perspective, I'm talking about the journey and what it means to me to have such a strong sisterhood who can be there for you in your time of need. And I'm truly in need now, and they have surrounded themselves around me.
Wow, that's your tribe. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thank you.
And now on to my next co-author guest. Her name is Tanel DeCoste, or I think it's DeCoste. So Tanel, did I pronounce your last name correct?
Yes, it's DeCoste. Perfect.
Oh, how is this close?
Perfect. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. So what inspired your chapter?
It's my life overall. When you start reading my chapter, I kick it off about my adoption. My biological mother gave me up for a wedding dress. And I thank God she did that, because the life I have right now, I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for my adopted mother right now. I would not. I know I wouldn't. I talk about my son surviving the Parkland shooting. I talk about women. I had a brain tumor. I had a health scare, and I had to get the tumor removed. And I fight. I'm all into politics. So I'm making calls, going to Tallahassee before COVID, of course, about, this should be done annually. We should have women being checked for tumors in their brain, because some women have it and don't even know they have it. Some don't have any symptoms at all. And you can go deaf, blind, have a stroke, anything, especially if it's on your pituitary gland, which controls all your hormones in your body. It becomes dangerous. So sometimes I do Zooms for women who's been through this, or if they're looking for a great surgeon, or my story, what I went through. The biggest thing of my chapter is helping women. I didn't have that in my career of a woman grabbing my hand and pulling me up that ladder. And as a woman, we have to break through this glass ceiling. I climbed the ladder, got kicked down, got pushed down, climbed back up, got kicked down. And I was like, you know what? When I get in that position, when God opens that door, I promise, if there's women out there that are trying to climb that ladder, I'm going to grab their hand and pull them up with me. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what sisterhood is to me. You have to help others. You don't know how you can change a person's life for giving them that opportunity. I also own my own consulting business. It's called DeCoste Consulting and Associates LLC, and we manage all your human resources needs, like training, investigations, you name it, we'll do it. Especially diversity and inclusion training. A lot of organizations don't have it, and they definitely need it. Thank you to my currently my vice mayor of city that I work for. She implemented a great organization. It's a commission on women, and I have to oversee to ensure women are paid equally to men doing the same job. When I'm talking about this is the year, the century of women, it is. This is sisterhood. This is what it means to me. So my chapter, you'll find everything about my whole life. I don't hide anything, the ups and downs that other women would tear me apart for no reason. And we need to stick together. We need to push each other up that ladder, because it's so hard to break through that glass ceiling.
Is there like maybe one sentence that stands out to you in the chapter that you wrote that you want to share with us?
Yes. I say something like, it doesn't matter how hard it is, just keep climbing. And I say, climb, climb, climb. Don't ever give up. That's my biggest message to women out there that's going through her ups and downs. We all go through it. And if you're in that position to help others, grab that woman and help them climb that ladder. You need to, because it's so hard. We're mothers. We clean the house. We're schooling. We have to work for a living. We don't need the extra stress that God, I climbed up to the top and I'm getting kicked down because what a man is getting the role, or I'm not getting paid equally. Times have changed, and I'm in a position that I look at everything across the board. So that's just me and my chapter. I'm also the president of FPELRA, and for the state of Florida, and we train and certified employees on labor relations, how to negotiate with unions and so forth.
Wow.
So that's my chapter.
Woo, okay. Anything else? Wow. No, that's so awesome. Just you wear many hats, and it's very inspiring. So, and thank you for uplifting women, for trying to educate on equal pay and labor rights. And yeah, as you know, as a woman, we have so many different roles and compared to a man. I mean, it's 2021, and I think I've seen it's definitely shifted.
Right.
You know, if it compared 2021 to like maybe 10 years ago, it's totally
Correct.
different. There's more like awareness as far as a man versus a woman and roles and all that. So so thank you so much for sharing that and for educating. So
Thank
Sister,
you. I want to thank Madam President. I can't not thank her enough for bringing this to me, because it wasn't for her. That's just RHONDA. She grabbed my hand. She said, "Come up here. Let's do this together." That's how she is. She's a wonderful person.
For your story, girl. We have to hear your story. All right, well, Tanel, thank you so much, and enjoy your Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And now on to my next co-author. It's Jamaro Johnson. So Jamaro, thank you so much for being our guest tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So what inspired your chapter?
Well, my chapter, and what I did was I kind of like named my chapters different perspectives. So I wanted to tackle the false narrative about us, right? I wanted to tackle the narrative that Black women are just one thing, where we are not just one thing, we're everything. And so I wanted to tackle that narrative that we're difficult, that we can't work together, that we're always in the middle of chaos and dysfunction and distress. And so a lot of my chapter deals with, first of all, transparency. I am very transparent about who I was as a friend when I was younger, as opposed to who I am as a friend now. In my journey through that process, I talk a lot about how women should be who they needed when they were younger. And I also talk a lot about how you don't want to be the woman that somebody has to recover from, right?
Wow.
You don't want to have a sister to have an interaction with you or a friendship with you. And after that friendship, she's so broken, she's so traumatized, she's so torn. And what happens now is that now she has a false narrative that all Black women are that way, right? Mm-hmm. So I talk a lot about how we can go about dismantling that false narrative about who we are and how we can serve each other better without costing, without it costing our character. Being a good friend should always mean you're showing up and you're genuine, but it should never come at the cost of your character. I am my sister's keeper. I'm not her crutch. We need to understand the difference between support and enabling. If we can't be present, transparent, and honest and hold our sisters accountable in the same place, then we're doing something wrong. So I talk a lot about how we can serve each other better and how we can do a better job with serving each other, and what's in the definition of what sisterhood really is. And it really is a community. It's a community of women who show up for each other, but also understand that you cannot be a good friend to someone if you're not taking care of yourself, right? So showing up for sisters does not mean setting yourself on fire to keep them warm, right? And people shouldn't want you to do that, right? Because fire hurts. And so in order for you to feel comfortable, I gotta hurt, then there's something wrong with this friendship. That's not a friendship, that's something else. So I talk a lot about transparency, crushing that false narrative about who we are, how we can serve each other better, and how no is a complete sentence, and it's okay to use it when you feel like using it. And so that's a lot of what my chapter is about. I was inspired by my chapter because I currently serve as the human trafficking coordinator for the county of Broward. I work under the first Black elected state attorney for Broward County, Mr. Hal F. Pryor. I also serve as president of the Broward Human Trafficking Coalition, which is the largest agency in Broward County fighting human trafficking by way of awareness and education. And I also am the owner and CEO of She Me Her LLC, which is my organization. I serve as a consultant for community-based organizations throughout Broward who are providing services to those that have been affected and afflicted by human trafficking, domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, childhood sexual abuse. And so all of that encompasses serving people better, right? And how we need to start seeing each other as humans, right? And I also talk a lot about how, you know, we as Black women, we tend to rename ourselves our trauma and our tragedy. We rename ourselves what has happened to us. And then what happens is that because we start walking in what happens to us, when something familiar comes along and calls us by that tragedy, calls us by that trauma, we answer to it. Yeah. And then we take 5,000 steps back, and all of the steps and all of the work and all of the good that we've done, you know, it means nothing, because what we do is we answer to that which has happened. And just it happened to you, yeah, but that doesn't mean that's who you are, right? And so I do talk a lot about how we need to, it's okay. It's okay to admit certain things happen to you, right? Because, shame prevents us a lot of time from acknowledging things from the past. But shame is a cancer. And if you don't detect it early, if you don't cut it out, it'll kill you. It will literally kill you. And so, I talk a lot bit about that and how it's okay not to be okay, but you need to tell somebody you're not okay, right? Because what happens is if you don't, then you'll. No, seriously. Because what happens is, if you don't, you'll start bleeding on people that didn't cut you, right? You'll start holding people accountable for things that they didn't do to you, because you're walking around here like you're okay, and you're really not okay, right? And then you're triggered, and then boom, everybody feels the wrath of your trauma because you have yet to deal with you. Because that's what I talk a lot about.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, so Edith Smith says, such honesty and loved every page I read. So I don't know if you know Edith Smith, but she loved every page she read. So
oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, yes. And just, Rhonda Williams Turner, I'm telling you, it can't be said enough. It can't be said enough that, thank God for her and her vision for this. And I truly believe God gave her this vision because we needed this. We didn't just need this, but Black women all over needed this. Black women needed to know that it's okay to share. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to tell the truth about who you were, because you're not that person anymore. And it's because of Rhonda Williams Turner that she has given us this platform to be honest and transparent about who we were, and show who we are now. Because I guarantee you, women that are reading this book, they're going to walk away breathing a sigh of relief, saying, okay, now I can deal with my stuff.
Yeah. Break that bondage, like liberate yourself, free yourself, it's okay to speak about it. Because a lot of us, we tend to consume that dark space because, again, we're ashamed. So it's okay to be liberated and to purge it out, renew yourself. So, wow. Well, I might have to go buy me that book. He just literally just preached to me a while ago. Well, Jamaro, thank you so much and enjoy your Wednesday.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to my next co-author. It's Dr. Carlissa Smith. So, Dr. Smith, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm getting like all this words of wisdom and knowledge. Like I have to go order my book tonight after the show. So
we're going to tell you how.
Yes. So what inspired your chapter?
My experience growing up. My grandmother and how strong she was. It inspired me to continue to want to give back and actually share my story. I mean, I grew up not telling anything because in our household, it was what goes on in this house stays in this house. So, you know, I used to keep everything in and, you know, live with my grandmother and my grandfather at the time. You know, I witnessed domestic violence and it caused me to be very protected, not trusting anyone. You know, so it changed how I viewed people, you know, and I was very, I would say I was a loner before I met some great sisters. And, you know, I get into that in my chapter. Because as a child, just experiencing the weekend domestic violence, because my grandfather was great during the week until he started drinking. And the weekend would get crazy, you know. So I was a nutcase, or I shouldn't say a nutcase. When I need to get the, I should have had the doctor to get on the couch back then, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
And now.
I was a very nervous child. Yeah, I was, you know, like a nervous wreck. So I didn't trust people, you know. So I was one of the sisters that would say, I don't have time to deal with, you know, sister drama. You know, I was one of those, okay?
Yeah.
I was one of the ones who had all the bad things to say, but it was basically because of how I grew up and the things I witnessed. And, you know, at one point, my grandfather actually went to prison for, you know, a fight that he actually murdered a guy. And, you know, going to the prison to visit him and all that, you know, I experienced it as a child, and it's just, I didn't trust anybody. So,
you were traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I, you know, but even though that doesn't determine where you end up. So it doesn't matter where you come from, the life experiences that you have as a child, as a teenager, a young adult, it doesn't determine where you're going. You know, so that's why I wanted to share in my chapter, you know, what I experienced and how I have had the opportunity to be blessed to meet some great sisters and just surround myself with some wonderful people. I just know that keeping everything to myself, you know, my story is about me, but it's not for me. So I need to share, you know, what I've experienced to help other people. A lot of times people go through the same mistakes because they haven't heard your story. So instead of keeping everything in and not talking about what I've experienced, now I share it with no issue about the things that I've experienced. I know some of my sisters talked about how we have that bond with our sisters now. And there are some women that have been really good to me in my life, especially RHONDA Turner. She was there for me during a hard time, you know, through marriages, divorces, and, you know, and starting over. You know, we have those sisters that are there. And no matter what we face in life, we still make it, because it's really important to keep that strong bond, that strong community around you. You know, I just lost my mom in June 24th. I'll never forget that day. And people have really shown me true love, true sisterhood, you know, encouraging me, checking on me, being there, showing up for the viewing, the funeral, and then after, you know, because I do have a great community of wonderful sisters that actually care about me as I am. You know, you don't have to be at a certain this or a certain clique. You know, you have those people who love you as you are today. And that's how we have to love people too, you know, give back. I am, oh my God, CEO of multiple companies, and I also have a nonprofit organization that, you know, we assist individuals that have a need for dental assistance to pay their bills and their expenses.
Oh.
I'm sorry about this. I'm just gonna try to cancel. Sorry that happened. Who has a home phone? I still have a home phone, y'all.
Oh, you do? You still have those?
I have a home phone. Can you imagine?
Hold on to it. It's a lot of money in a couple of years.
Hey, one of the last few people to still have a home phone. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh my God. See, stuff happens, right?
That's okay. That's funny.
I know, right?
But no, but thanks for sharing your story. There's other women out there that they have to hear your story. They're maybe they're going through the same thing, and they're afraid to face it. They're afraid to talk about it. You know, they're holding everything in. But I'm so happy that you're able to kind of share your chapter. And like what you said, you in the beginning you were kind of isolated. You kind of closed in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But now you're out there and people have to hear your story. So you freed yourself of that. Like what Mara said, you have to free yourself and you have to kind of be comfortable in your skin. That was in the past. Now we're in the future. We're moving on, you know? So
You
Right.
control your future. You control your future. Your past doesn't control it. You control what you do in the future. And just
Yeah.
as I guess a final word, I mean, as we all build businesses and you have your careers, connections are really important. You know, you keep a great, strong circle. You control who's in your inner circle. Okay, so you're the CEO of your life, and you decide who's going to be in the front row. Okay, it's so important to continue to surround yourself with good people. Your strong community is great. Networking with people, because in business, your network does contribute to your net worth. So keep good, strong people with you. A lot of businesses that are out there, you get opportunities because you meet people in your circle. So it's good to do that, and it's strong. And I always say we're stronger together. You know,
Yes,
you two, like for what I'm planning on doing, one is too small of a number to achieve greatness. So we are stronger together as strong Black sisters. So keep that in mind.
There we go. Build that sisterhood. So, Dr. Smith, thank you so much. Very inspiring. And you have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you.
And now on to my next co-author. Her name is Latasha Clemens. So, Latasha, happy Hump Wednesday. Thanks for being on with us tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, what inspired your chapter?
Well, I think one of the sisters mentioned previous that she was always wanting to write her own story. And I most certainly can co-sign with that. I've always wanted to write my own story from childhood up into, current, my adult life. But I'm going to give the shout out right in the beginning. RHONDA Williams Turner pulled me by the hand and said, sis, I would love for you to be a part of this project. And when RHONDA, no one really says no. So just go ahead, you embrace it.
That's
and
Madam President. Can't tell her no.
That's right. And you embrace it, and she just pulls it out of you, and you just go full speed ahead. But what I wanted to share is just overall everything that I've been through and experienced from childhood. When my parents breaking up when I was young, and going through that whole experience with preteen sex and pregnancies, and living in the community where there's obviously drugs and crime and things of that nature, and just traveling that journey, and having my sister and I to kind of navigate that world, without really having that strong foundation to lean on. So that was part of my story in the beginning, and then just navigating through sisterhood and through sports and softball and roommates in college, and those journeys, and even up until when you become a professional and you're navigating your way through the workplace. What really inspired it is definitely that all the struggles in the workplace, the pain and suffering that you go through when you're advancing through your career and you're promoting. And then once you think you've gotten to the top and you've accomplished all you've accomplished, all the pain and suffering that comes in with that. So my story is helping all women in the fire service. And part of my disclaimer is, to my sisters in the flame, I like to say those silent voices and the stolen passion. This chapter is dedicated to them, because a lot of us in public safety, we bear the grunt of so much struggle, so many struggles in public safety, whether you're in police, fire, I'm in the fire service. And some of the things that we endure and we encounter, you navigate those waters by yourself sometimes, and you don't see that, you don't have that sisterhood, when you're going through those waters, your organizations. And not many folks understand your journey unless you're walking that journey with them. So my book is pretty much inspired by that. I wanted everybody to understand my experience and understand what women go through, and even men too, what we go through in these establishments and organizations. And I decided that I wanted to tell my story because I was going to fight for myself, win, lose, or draw of anything. Whether I lost relationships and friendships, which I think I have, and that's okay. But I was going to tell my story to help others and to know that they have a voice. And I don't want anyone else to be voiceless. I don't want you to navigate these waters by yourself. So,
wow. Well, so I think it's Tiffany Boyd Wesley. She goes, yay, Fire Chief Latasha Clemens. So it's Tiffany Boyd Wesley. So she just gave you a shout out. She just big you up a little bit.
Thank you, Tiff. That's my friend from Arlington.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, but thank you very much. I mean, again, the different chapters, the thing for me, just listening to all you ladies, is that you'll have like different walks of life.
Yeah.
You know, there's been challenging moments. It's been a struggle. And you guys all have, not guys, I should say women, all have like a different story to share. And the thing is that they're not all the same. They're all different stories. There's some pain there. Y'all shared like pain and struggles and challenges and growing up. And then fast forward to now, there's a sisterhood that you guys all formed. I said guys again. Oh my God.
That's right. There's definitely a sisterhood. And, you know, I'm the vice president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women South Palm Beach County chapter, where RHONDA Williams Turner is our president. And the way that they rallied around me when I was going through my, you know, my trauma, it just empowered me to want to do and be more. And so I believe in sisterhood. I initially didn't, but I do believe in sisterhood. I'm a part of this organization. On a good note, my journey hasn't ended. I just been appointed to the fire chief, Forest Park, Georgia. So I think that's encouraging. That's inspiring women that we can still be great, and we're going to be great.
Congratulations. You're breaking barriers. That's so inspirational. And your story have to be told. Wow.
Have to be told.
Yeah. Share your voice. Share your struggles and your successes, you know?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Latasha, thank you so much. Now I'm going to speak to Madam President right now. So, Madam President, RHONDA Williams.
Yes. I'm back.
Hello. Wow. Just speaking to all your co-authors is very inspiring. And again, they all have different stories to share. They're not all the same. You know, we all go through different struggles in our lives.
Right. And we don't want everybody to have the same story because we all live different lives. So they will be different. I was also a part of a book called I Am a Woman in Power, and it was 26 ladies there. And can you just imagine all the different stories that came out of there that was able to help someone else? So that was my goal. These different stories, these 16 stories or 15 stories, able to help somebody else survive. And they're not, like they said, they're not all bad. They all have some have some challenges and some have not. So I just appreciate them taking the opportunity to flow with this project, and was well worth it to me.
And where can we find this book?
Well, we have, each one of us have our own landing page where you can purchase the book, but you can also get it on Amazon. And some of us are on Barnes and Noble. So if you go to my page, RHONDA Williams Turner, because it's not, you know, it's not a private page, you can see the link there as well. But most of them you can find them on Amazon, sister to sister. You can look up Jamara, you can look up Rhonda Rogers, you can look up Tennille. All of us are on Amazon.
And what do you want the readers to get from the book's message?
Know your struggle, because what I say, you may not have been through. So know your struggle and what you need to improve on. Be a friend to someone. Know what real friendship is. Know what being a real sister is. Encourage other women. Yeah. So that's the overall goal. Encourage each other so we can be successful.
And you're not alone.
Yes.
You're just not alone. Like all these little snippets of tonight, you're not alone. You're not by yourself. Build that sisterhood.
At all. And stop staying at home and like saying, oh, well, this happened to me, baby.
Yeah.
Join the crowd.
Right.
You might just don't see it because you're staying in the house.
Right.
But it's a lot of us that have went through things out there in life. Not all bad. So some of these people and some of these chapters in this book can help you understand things a little bit better and make you smile as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Just make you think, you know, it's like a therapy. It's a therapy. It's therapeutic. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So what would you tell your younger self, and how old would you be?
What would I tell my younger self? Child, don't look at no Don't pay no attention to them boys, because they not working right now. They are trouble. And I think too, at the age that I was, that I started dating real heavy and wind up getting pregnant, I lost a lot of friendships behind that, because he was controlling me and my life. So I did lose a lot of friendship behind that. And I would just tell myself, that's not what, be smarter, But I think too, God ordered my steps. I went through things because, I went through things early so I can be where I'm at today.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that I have a testimony. So I just thank God for ordering my steps the way he has.
Wow. Well, thank you and your co-authors for all their testimonies.
Yes.
Very inspiring. Yeah, I have to get a book tonight. I have to start reading it tonight, because I feel like there's certain things I need to kind of purge out to move forward. So
get the book. And you can support, and this is me. You can support any of those young ladies that was on here tonight. No, whoever story you say, okay, I want hers, purchase the book, support them all. So if you have a friend, tell her to go get Jamara's. If you get RHONDA's, we all need to just support each other.
Well, Madam President William Turner, thank you very much. Someone says, Michelle goes, this is an amazing book. I need to order a copy tonight as well. See, there we go.
Yes, Michelle, order that book and tell a friend. Tell a friend,
exactly.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you for the platform. We appreciate you all.
Well, Dexter goes, Rhonda Williams Turner is a real boss.
Thank you, Mr. Dexter. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much. Keep inspiring. Let's build that sisterhood and have a wonderful Wednesday night.
You too, and stay safe.
Thank you. And remember to watch Lunch with Legacy Leaders tomorrow with Emery Sorrell. It's every Thursday at 12 p.m. Tune in on Facebook at MIA Media GRP. Again, that's MIA Media GRP. And tomorrow, they'll be discussing COVID-19 updates, vaccines, and precautions. Again, it's tomorrow, 12 p.m. with Emery Sorrell. Now, this show is brought to you by SWA, Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, and the AARP. So stay tuned for next week's show. Thank you so much, and have a good night.